The internet changed how we work. AI is changing what work gets done. A bank cut loan processing from days to hours. A student built an AI scheduler, improving on-time delivery from under 70% to over 90%. Most teams know AI matters, but aren't sure where to start. InAI is Indiana's statewide AI adoption effort, built with industry, academia, and community partners, helping you move from understanding to action. Visit inaiready.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, August 10th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. Officials in Fort Wayne have kicked off public engagement efforts in the development of the city's new 10-year downtown strategic plan. Paul Spoolhoff, Planning and Policy Deputy Director for the city, says the public engagement portion of the planning process is vital.
Downtown is everyone's neighborhood, and it continues to become a thriving place. It needs to have something for everyone, and those are difficult things to balance.
The effort, which runs through the end of September, includes an online survey and an interactive map where residents can share perspective on what is working in the city's downtown and what needs attention. Purdue University has added 896 beds to its West Lafayette campus with the opening of South Hall as the university continues to expand housing capacity amid record enrollment. University officials on Friday dedicated the $149 million 8-story residence hall, which will welcome its first residents this week. Grow Wabash County has chosen an associate professor at Manchester University to lead its new effort aimed at helping small businesses. Beth Driscoll will serve as the entrepreneurship navigator for its new Start Local, Grow Local initiative. She will provide one-on-one advising, coordinate educational programming with partners such as the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center and Small Business Development Center, and connect business owners to capital, mentorship, and test market opportunities such as pop-ups and farmers markets. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
A proposed power line included in AES Indiana's plan to serve a data center in Morgan County has drawn scrutiny from a consumer advocacy group and landowners during regulatory proceedings.
AES announced an agreement with Google in April that requires the technology giant to pay the full cost of directly powering the 390-megawatt data center project near Monrovia, as well as 3 other proposed energy projects across Indiana. AES estimates that cost to be $1.3 billion. The cost includes some transmission upgrades that are required to serve Google. Through its request with the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission for serving the data center, the utility is also seeking approval of a proposed $73.8 million power line, in which most of the cost will be borne by a broader customer rate base. Indiana-based consumer advocacy group Citizens Action Coalition petitioned to have the full cost covered by Google, arguing that the requirement is in line with the Trump administration-backed Ratepayer Protection Pledge that AES and other utilities have signed voluntarily, promising to take the full costs of powering data centers. AES said it is appropriate to charge the broader rate base for the proposed transmission project because it will benefit all customers as part of AES's long-term plan to address overall demand growth in the area. In filings, AES said that charging the broader rate base for this power line is not contrary to the pledge. Meanwhile, the project has drawn pushback from a group of landowners who have property along potential routes for that power line. AES sought to block the landowners from intervening in the case, noting that the IURC does not have jurisdiction over power line siting. The IURC ultimately allowed the landowners to intervene, but noted that it would not consider how the transmission line is sited through the case. Abriana Herron, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A long vacant church in downtown Gary that was previously planned for at least a partial restoration is now set to be completely demolished. Our partners at the Times of Northwest Indiana report City Methodist Church will be torn down due to deterioration that has created safety issues. Last year, the city of Gary unveiled its vision and action plan developed in partnership with the University of Notre Dame, which called for preserving the church's bell tower as part of a redevelopment to create City Renaissance Park. However, the decision to demolish the entire property followed an evaluation by Chicago-based architecture and engineering firm Bailey Edward. A recent ranking of nearly 400 U.S. metropolitan areas from site selection firm Global Location Strategies places the Indianapolis metro area at number 10 and the Fort Wayne area at number 11 among the hottest markets in the nation for defense and aerospace investment. Indiana has long been known as a manufacturing state. Now that manufacturing expertise is positioning the state as one of the nation's emerging defense and aerospace powerhouses, says Connexus Indiana CEO Jay Wirtz.
The trend in defense and aerospace right now is to make selections really based on manufacturing capability. So it's excellent and it's very important to have ideas and innovation, but the areas, the metros that are winning contracts now can manufacture, they can do it in volume, and they can manufacture very high technology products.
Industry observers say the growth opportunity for Indiana's defense and aerospace sectors is significant. Wirtz said even though the state has about 50,000 people currently working in defense, that's only about 13% of the manufacturing base. USA Gymnastics CEO Kyle Albrecht is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.